Hey everybody, this is Mike with the One Stop Co-op Shop, and I see some meeples in boats coming to market, so we must be looking at Merchant's Cove and the solo play today. And a quick thank you to Final Frontier Games for sending me a review copy of this one. So Merchant's Cove, as you can probably guess, is a Euro with a merchant theme and kind of market mechanics, but it's got these different asymmetric factions you can play, and I'm going to be showing you one of them today, which our patrons voted for, the Alchemist. And this game also has a lot of other modular elements, especially if you play with the expansions, but I'm leaving all that stuff out. So everything I'm showing you today is just in the core game. I'm going to do my usual thing, explain the basics of the gameplay, jump into a full solo playthrough, and if you want to see my thoughts on the game, check out the separate review video. And if you have a moment, jump into the comments and let me know what's your favorite merchant game. It can have merchants in the title or just be focused on merchants and selling goods in some way. And hey, if you like the content here at the One Stop Co-op Shop, please consider supporting us on Patreon for perks like early access to our videos. Check out our separate streaming channel for live stream play. Listen to our podcast with tons of amazing content every week. And hey, join our Discord if you want some nice conversations about games. So I'm going to start my overview of the game by talking about the kind of turn or round structure. This game progresses through 3 rounds, and each round is going to involve the different players moving their little hourglass tokens around this little circle until they reach this market space or all the boats get filled. We'll get to that in a second. And after time runs out, there will be a market phase where they get to sell the goods they've made. And after you've played 3 of those rounds, you see whose tracker has advanced furthest on the money victory point track, and that player is the winner. And this game uses a time track mechanic. I always enjoy these, where each action you take will move you forward 1 or 2 spaces, and whichever player is furthest back is the next to act. So here the black player would go. Let's say they moved 1, it would still be their turn. Then they move 2, now it's the wood player's turn. If they move 1, whoever's on top is the first player, so they would go again. And a key thing is whenever a player passes one of these spots that shows a meeple, or in the solo and 2-player game, 2 meeples, they're going to come up here to the harbor where these adventurers are waiting in boats, and they're going to draw a random adventurer from the bag and put it in the boat of their choice. And whenever a given boat is full, it can be docked in either of the docks that are on its specific side of the Dragon Island. So these 3 boats have to dock over here, and these 3 boats have to dock over here. And this is going to determine the relative demand for the different goods in the game. Every player can make both large and small goods in the 4 different colors. And the more of a given adventurer color at a given pier, the more you'll get for items of that color and size. So like I could sell red large goods for a crazy amount of money right now with 3 red adventurers at that dock. And whenever both slots have been filled on one side of Dragon Island, any adventurers in the 3rd boat get sent down to their respective guild. And this is going to give turn-by-turn points to both the AI and the player based on the sponsorships they've unlocked, and can also give end-of-game victory points based on the staff members you've recruited from the town. Like in this case, the player would get 2 money, 2 points per yellow in their guild at the end. And the end of the round is usually going to be triggered when 4 boats have docked. Then you'll usually have about 1 more turn each before the round is finished. And those are kind of the basics of gameplay. You take turns moving your tokens around, performing actions to build goods and recruit townspeople. As you pass meeple spots, you get to fill the ships. Once they fill enough, they come into port and they also fill up the guilds. And generally, whichever player manages to have the right items on stock to sell for big money is going to be the one that wins. Now, let's talk about the AI player for a second. They're called the Peddler. And whenever it's their turn, they use a pretty simple system of combining 2 cards. You might have seen this kind of thing in Gaia Project. They flip a new card from their deck, and they look at just the middle spots of each card. And it tells you a few things. How many times they perform an action, in this case twice. What action they perform, in this case building a yellow and a green small good. So they'd get 2 of each of those. How far they move on the time track, in this case it would take them 2 hours. And if in that time movement they're called upon to place adventurers or anything else, they're going to place them on the left side of the board, closest to the middle of the board. This could also be on the right side or furthest to the outside. It kind of all varies up. And you'll probably notice right away that you can always see the rightmost card. So you know what action they're going to take, you have a sense of how long it's going to take, and you know whether they're going for inside or outside. You don't know whether it's left or right until you draw the second card. Now, they also have this little line of adventurers. Whenever they are called upon to place an adventurer on a boat, they're going to look at what their rightmost good is in their line. So here it's a red. And they'll look for that type of adventure, and that's the one they'll place on the boat, pulling it from their board. If they can't place one of a color, they'll place a rogue, which is like this gray kind of unsuited one that has negative victory points at the end of the game. And if they can't place anything, they're going to go to the bag and do it randomly. And these adventurers on the AI's board are how they score the sponsorships of the different guilds. For each meeple they have over there of a given color, they'll get that many points for the number of meeples in the given guild. But what about me? Well, like I said, this is a heavily asymmetric game, and I'm trying out the Alchemist. And each of the factions is kind of playing their own mini-game to create their goods and interact with the board. In the Alchemist case, she's basically playing Potion Explosion, where she is filling up this decanter with 8 marbles at a time. And one of her main actions is to grab them, and as they drop, she can get extras. And she's going to fill up her cauldrons with those marbles. And then when she's ready, she's going to take the brew action to turn those marbles into the goods that she can sell at the market. And every player board has stuff similar to this. You have a little miniature. Hello, Miss Alchemist, how are you? And every time it's your turn, you'll move her to a different action space. You can't do the same action twice in a row. And each one will indicate how many hours it takes, or in some cases they'll have this skull symbol, which means you have to draw a corruption card, which is usually going to be negative victory points at the end of the game, based on how many of these rogue meeples end up in their lair, their little guild. So to quickly run through her actions, first of all, like everybody else, she's got a little recruit townsperson action. And that's the only action space that doesn't have a cost inherent to itself. Instead, you pick which townsperson you want and pay between 1 to 2 hours and sometimes 1 corruption. And like I already mentioned, this will give you some endgame scoring. It'll also give you some immediate effect at the bottom, in this case, getting rid of a corruption card. And this is one of those modular elements. You can pick different sets of townspeople to combine. In this case, I've got, I think they're like the villagers that let you get rid of corruption, and the fighters or something. I forget what the icon is called. But these guys get you goods immediately, like here a large red or blue good. And note that sometimes townspeople have negative victory points as well. This is again going to give you negative points for every rogue in the lair at the end of the game. Now when you recruit a townsperson, after you do their immediate effect, you slide them underneath one of the 4 spots on your staff board. Each player, again, has a unique one of these. And that corresponds to your use staff action, which takes 2 hours. And lets you resolve the action indicated for each staff position you filled in whatever order you want. Now going to the left side here, the most important action for the Alchemist is taking ingredients from the decanter. And you pick a row. You'll see there's a 2-time, 2-time, and 1-time and a corruption. And you also pick one of the 4 colors, yellow, red, blue, or green. And it's probably going to be my first action in the actual game, but I'll still show you. So whichever color you pick, you get any marbles in either column of that color, plus any marbles that fall into the row that you picked. And blacks are wild, they're called Ichor, and they come down as well. So here I would get 3 yellows and a black, which again is clearly what I'm going to do as my first action in a moment. And you immediately place those marbles as you like in your cauldrons, and later with the brew action, you can turn those marbles into potions to sell in the market. 2 of a given color let you brew a small potion of that color. 2 of a color and 1 of any color lets you brew a large potion. 3 of whatever ingredients you want lets you permanently unlock this Ichor extract. And that goes into your cauldron permanently and basically becomes a wild and also makes it quicker to fill that cauldron up to make potions. And on top of that, this is how you unlock the sponsorship bonuses for you for the guild. So like for the rest of the game, I would get points every round based on how many blue adventurers were in their guild. And both Ichor extracts and Ichor ingredients count as wild. So like I could put a blue here and say that I was building a large blue. But they do need to copy a color that's actually in the cauldron. So I couldn't like put a green here and say, oh, both of these are blue. I'm making a large blue. The color does have to exist in there. And when you take the brewing action for 1 hour, you can brew as many as you want in whatever order. The colored marbles go back into the bag to be drawn later, but any Ichor ingredients you use go into the toxic waste cauldron where they just kind of fill it up with dirt. And if you ever have to place an Ichor ingredient on a skull space, then you take a corruption card. But the final action available to the Alchemist for 1 hour is to scrub down the toxic waste cauldron and put all of these back in the bag. Alright, and that is basically it, so let's jump into our solo playthrough and see how we do against the AI. And by the way, I have the AI on the harder difficulty setting. You change out the cards they use, so we'll see if we survive. So the AI is on top, they're going to go first. And I kept the action you already saw, making a yellow and green small. They're going to do it once. And they do it in that order, which means that green will be the rightmost for placing adventurers right now. And lucky for them, it only took 1 time to build 2 things. Yikes. So they advance 1 hour. They have not passed an adventurer space yet. And now coming around to me, like I said, I want to get all of these yellows, so I'm going to the middle row. And I'm going to pick the color yellow. So boom, 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 boom. 4 marbles. And let's look at the adventurer color distribution for a second. Do I actually want to make yellow goods? Well, currently there's only a single yellow meeple on all of the boats combined. Not too good. By the way, red and green are more common, and yellow and blue are less common, but their goods are also worth a bit more money. But yeah, it looks like green, red, and maybe blue are the way to go. Yellow is kind of not much. And I also want to consider that the AI already built a yellow and a green, and they're about to build another one, at least. So I probably don't want to support yellow much. So to that end, let's go for unlocking an ichor extract instead. I'm going to try to unlock red because right now that's the color most prevalent on the boats. And then for my ichor ingredient, I mean, you can just hang out and be a wild for later. Whenever you take ingredients, you just load in from the top until they are full again. Ooh, that is a lot of greens. I can get 3 of those 4 pretty easily. And I spent 2 hours going that, so the AI is next. Let's see. Yep, just a single yellow. Oh my gosh, and then a large yellow is coming next. They're just loving yellow this time. So there we go, and they are going to move forward 2. So 1, 2, and they did pass a meeple space, so they're going to place 1 adventurer. And to show this in action, they look at the rightmost good. It's yellow. Do they have any yellow? If they do, they're going to place 1 of them. If they didn't, they'd look at the next color, green. Do they have any green? And so on. And where are they going to place the yellow? On the right side of the boat, in the boat closest to the middle. So that means right here. That's not too bad. It's not like he's doubling or tripling up yellows there. All right, now let's see. How about me? I'd like to get those greens. So I guess going up here to get 1 hour and 1 corruption. That'll work okay. I will, of course, call green. So 1. I'd like the red to go. You can take them in whatever order you want to have them kind of fall the right way. And green looks like it could be worth some decent money, so I think, well, I could also just like really focus on unlocking a lot of stuff at first. Yeah, it never really hurts to do that, does it? Because there's going to be endgame victory points, and it will make me produce stuff faster for the rest of the game. All right, and we've got ichor, and more ichor, and blue. So man, if I called green, I'd get a green and then 2 wild, which seems pretty good. And again, I'm getting a corruption card. And most of them actually don't look like this. They just have this face, which means you're going to take 1 negative point for every rogue in the lair. But sometimes they have this, where they double the negatives from the rogues, but also give you a positive from a specific guild. So like if reds way outpace the number of rogues, this card might actually not be worth any negative victory points. It could even be positive, theoretically. But there are also a good number of ways to get rid of these, especially from the townspeople decks, so I'm not too worried about getting a few. And I go 1 hour, I'm going to place an adventure, and then I'm going to go again, alright. Alright, and I got a rogue. We're playing with the criminal card, which is like the really basic one, where rogues don't do anything, they just like kind of take up space. But again, with the modular nature of the game, you can switch out other rogue cards and have different effects. So let's see, I could finish this up and mess up their plans of getting a bunch of yellows together. Although, you know what, at the moment, even though yellow is their rightmost, they don't have any yellow in their pile. They only have green, so they wouldn't place any more yellows anyway. Well, I think I'm still going to do it because then I get to choose which market it goes to. So I talked about the large market on the left and the small market on the right here. And this one gets double boats, so even though these goods are worth less money, you can sometimes make more just because so many people come here. But you also have the black market. You have to take 1 corruption card to sell here in general, no matter how many goods you sell. But they'll accept large and small. So if a bunch of yellow adventurers got here, it could be devastating. But it's kind of nice to have just a single one because I might force the AI to sell there and take some corruption in doing so. Alright, so our first boat is docked. It's still my turn since I'm on top. And you know what, even though I could grab more stuff, I'm actually thinking I might recruit somebody. Because look, this guy only costs 1 hour and 1 corruption card, but he's getting me a large red, although I guess these are negative victory points probably at the end. But getting a few corruption cards shouldn't be too bad, because if I can grab this guy, he gets rid of 3 corruption cards all at once. And I like the Alchemist staff board. It has pretty cool abilities, so I'd like to kind of get that filled up soon. So yep, we're going to get this guy for 1 hour and a corruption. And to explain the effects, basically everybody has this one. It just gets rid of a corruption card every time you activate your staff for 2 hours. This one lets you brew in 2 cauldrons, so kind of like a weaker version of the regular brew action. This one lets you take an ingredient from anywhere on the board and put it into a cauldron of your choice. You can even take a wild from the negative waste cauldron and put it somewhere, which is pretty awesome. And this one lets you take up to 2 ingredients again from anywhere and put it back in the bag. So you can chain together a bunch of cool combos. I mean, gosh, all of them are good. I think I mainly want to get some brewing going first, maybe. Or actually, no, maybe the one that returns them to the bag so I can avoid having to waste time cleaning out the waste. Waste, haha, and I got a large red potion from that guy. Thank you very much. But they did cost me 1 hour and another corruption card. Oh man, these doubles. I definitely have to get rid of these. Greens and times 2 rogues negative points. Alright, AI, how many large yellows are you building? Just 1, and then he's going to come with a blue. Just 1 time again, wow. This is an efficient AI at the moment. They're going again. Like I said, building some small blues. Just 1 for another hour? Are you kidding me? And they're filling up their goods. But, I'm going to burst out of the gate in rounds 2 and 3, right? So they are about to place an adventurer on the left side towards the middle. And it'll be a blue guy, since blue is their rightmost. Just to show you, they pass the adventurer space, that's why. And left middle, I mean, they're still not doubling anything up, which is probably the best thing that could happen for me if I don't build a lot this round. Although there is one thing I might want to go for. They're going to build a small red, and they won't have much room soon. And look at this. If I can draw like one more red, I can slot this guy into the large port. I already got one large red. Maybe I can brew up another one and make a ton of money that way. Oh, by the way, when I did my recruiting action, I forgot you always slide to the right and then fill in. So she just gives me a small green, which doesn't look like it's going to be worth much right now. Large blue doesn't look like it's going to be worth much. So I'm mainly looking at these cards for some corruption disposal. But I can't do that now. I've got to act. Let's see. So if I call green, I can get 2 wilds as well. It seems like the best I can do. Blip, and I'll get the blue on top of another blue, so that's a little bonus. Yikes, I am running out of room, aren't I? I guess I'll just go crazy and keep trying to get those sponsorships. And let's see, a yellow, and a wild, huh? And I'm going to get an adventure replacement. Who is it? Come on, give me a red. Ah, it's a blue. And they've got a small blue so far. They've got a small blue. So for now, let's just kind of have nothing be too doubled up, except maybe red. And speaking of red, the AI is building 1 small red, but for 2 hours. That's nicer. And that means they will place an adventurer, which happens to be this red guy, and they're going to build a large green. Wow, they're building a lot this time. Oh, which means they're finishing this one up. So we've got a red guy, and a blue guy, and a rogue doing nothing, and a green guy. And that means since this ship is left out, the red and the blue guy will drink their sorrows away with their guild, because they didn't get to buy anything. All right. I think I'm going to go wacky and recruit again. I'll get the rightmost lady because I'm mainly concerned about not spending too much time. And I can throw away 1 corruption card, but it has to be before I take this cost. So I can't throw away the one I would have taken. I don't know. These both are terrible. I'll get rid of the green one. Everyone slides down. We got another super corruption discarder. I like that. And yeah, let's go ahead and go with the person who puts them into cauldrons. But then I do have to pay my penalty 1 hour. And here you go. Finally, just a basic corruption card. -1 victory point at the end of the game for every rogue in the lair. I'm still on top, but first let's do an adventurer. Come on, give me that red, Yellow. Oh, they've got like 1 billion yellows. Okay, so I want to spread this out, and then I can hopefully draw at least 1 red and try to dock this boat at the end. Which actually makes me think I might want to do an action that takes 2 times so that I get this double placement on the boats before the AI gets the chance and maybe messes up my plans. All right, you know what I'm going to go for? I'm going to go for crazy, getting no items this entire time, basically. I'm going to go right there. I'm going to call blue, so which way do I want these to fall? I want the reds to go together, and I guess the wilds with the reds would be cool, so we'll do that. And we'll literally fill up every cauldron space, ready to brew. And we're going 1, 2, placing 2 guys. And I get to draw them both at the same time. Yes! Oh, that's great. He doesn't have any large green at all. He's about to build one, but it's only going to be a 1 times multiplier. So sweet! Now, I'm pretty much certain I won't have time to get another large red, unfortunately, but still, that was excellent. All right, like I said, the AI is building, oh gosh, 2 large greens? Wow. They're going to be off to a very early lead. Hopefully I can catch up. And it's going to move them 2 times, and they do have a green to place. So boom. And the tiebreaker was outer, so they're going to bring this guy in, just 1 of each. But that doesn't mean red, blue, and green small goods are going to be worth ×2. They have 1 of each of those, but they had 2 yellow, so I'm glad we kept that down. And then yellow, green, and blue are going to their guilds. So very balanced guild presence so far. And I should have mentioned they had 1 more meeple to place, but the second 4 boats are filled, you stop and just get rid of all that. No more meeples get placed this round. And that triggers the almost end of the round. What you do is you take the market, you look at which player is the furthest forward, and you put it 1 space in front of them. And once a player's token gets onto or past that space, they can't take any more actions for the round. But the AI is still going with 1 last action. And this is going to be one that's kind of unique to them. It's 2 money for every green guy in their guild. So they are first on the board. I think these are bards. So there's 2 of them ×2. They're going up to the 4. And that was only 1 hour, but they have reached this. But what that does mean for me, usually it's kind of better to be later in the round. No matter what I do, if I go here or go past it and take a 2-hour action, I'm going to end up on top, which means I'll be first in the next round. And again, it's kind of better to go later because you get to see which adventurers come out. Although, it can vary. So I get a single action, and I think it's kind of obvious. I need to brew because I want to get the bonus for all of these. And let's see. Big and small yellows are not worth any more than 1 time. Greens aren't worth any more than 2 times. Nothing's worth more than 2 times except large reds, and I can't get one of those. So I'm literally just going to brew every single extract that I can. All 3 of these almost fill up the toxic waste. I'm really close to getting corruption from that. But I get every single one of these, which means right now and for the rest of the game, I'm going to get the bonuses at the end of the round for all the guilds. and it's going to be very easy for me to make other potions quickly. Remember, all the colored marbles go right back in our bag. And with a 1 hour action, we have both reached the end of the round. So now we go to the market phase, and the AI is very simple. They sell everything they can at the first place they can sell it, even if there is a better price waiting. And to show you what I mean by that, let's say there were like 3 yellows here and only 1 here. They would still sell their small yellow here, going from left to right, the first market they get to that can take it, instead of selling for the higher price there. All right, so AI does have 2 large greens. That's going to be 12. Because their base price is 6, and there's only 1 green buyer, so a 1 times multiplier, so 6 each. 6 plus 6 is 12. Another 6 for their small green being multiplied by 2, that's 18. Plus the times 2 small blue, that's 26, plus 6 more from the red, 32. And then 4 each with the 1 times multiplier, that'll be 40. And their last good, I love this, they only sell a single thing at the black market, but that is still enough for them to get a corruption card for selling there. And we don't see what the AI's corruption cards are, but hopefully it's a bad one. But that does get them 8 more, so they're up to 48. Or I should say 48 plus 4, 52. And they would have gotten guild sponsorship bonuses for every meeple left, but they used them all. As for me, I only have a single rinky-dink potion to sell, but there are 3 red guys there, so that's worth 18. And I also unlocked every guild sponsorship, so 20, 22, 25, 27. Considering that I basically spent the entire first round just building up, me being less than halfway behind them, I feel pretty good about that. Now for cleanup between rounds, all the adventurers on boats go away, but the ones on guilds and lairs stay. And the rightmost town person, oh no, that's one I wanted to buy, but it's okay, there's another one now that will also serve me just as well. The time track also adjusts each round. You keep the player order, but in round 2 we're going to start on space 2. And one of these mice that was covering up a clock hand is going to go to the 1 space. The market always goes back to 12. And now we have a choice. When we get to here, we can either go the regular way and still draw an adventurer for the boats, or we can go up to this corruption space, taking a corruption card, gaining ourselves 1 extra hour for the round, but at the cost of corruption, and also we don't get to place the adventurers. We have less control over what's coming out on the boats. And finally, for the AI, you shuffle up all of their cards, so no idea what's going to come out next time. And they're going to be doing a new action type in a moment, we'll explain that. And they also get 4 random adventurers to fill out their little offer. They always get at least 4, but if they end the round with more, they keep them. And we put 2 random adventurers in each boat to start out, and this is a very balanced one. Slightly more red, but actually a bunch of rogues, which is going to potentially depress kind of the money we can make for everybody. All right, I am first. What do I want to do? You know, I'm actually going to do kind of a bit of a holding action and just clean out this stuff for 1 hour. Because I would love to see what the AI does and which colors are going to be kind of foremost here. So I mentioned this is a new action we haven't seen before. This means they recruit a townsperson and get 2 more adventurers here. For the townsperson, they're going left of center toward the outside. So again, this friendly guy here, and they only care about the end victory point icons. They never get any bonus from this. Now we're getting somebody with a small yellow. Then they get 2 random adventurers added to their lineup. And if they would ever need to place an adventurer when there's no room, they instead get to throw away a corruption card for free. They've only got 1 so far. And that was only 1 hour. The jerks, they're going to do another thing. Oh, a little blue once. Another 1 hour. I promise you there are more 2-hour card combinations in here. They're going to place the only blue meeple they have because the only good they have is blue. Inner on the left. Oh, so that is already a doubled up blue. Although if I jump in, I could put it over here and maybe try to build some large blues myself. And speaking of large blues, I could get one and sort of finish filling out the main staff I want to get. Although, -2 per rogue. Right now we haven't added any rogues. We already have 3 blues. That might be okay. Yeah, you know, what the hey. I like being dangerous, so we're going to do that for 1 hour and a corruption. Placing him on the brew 2 spot and getting our large blue. 1 hour, I'll place an adventurer in a moment, and another double corruption with yellow, which hasn't done too well so far. I got a red. Would have loved to have gotten a blue and be able to cemented that double blue would be good. For now, I'm not really sure where they're going to end up, so let's do something innocuous and go there. All right, it's still me, and I think I want to go ahead and grab the yellows here. It's going to knock the red down the wrong way, but that's okay. It's yellow, wild, and yellow. And I'm thinking I might want some large blues. So let's have a wild here, and then a blue will finish it up. Then as for the yellows, let's split them. I could make 2 small yellows. Or I could put other colors in here and kind of give myself flexibility to make like a large yellow or a large something else. And what's coming out? A wild, and a green, and oh my gosh, that's a lot of reds. Okay, now, do I want to go there and get a corruption or place a person. I already have 3 corruption, although I am hopefully going to get the staff member that gets rid of it. Yeah, I want to be able to place people and control it. Oh, and I got a blue. Awesome. So I just got to hope the AI doesn't make any blues now, or I make more than them. So I'm docking them all here, and now the 1 large blue I have, and if I can make another large blue, then I will be rolling in it. All right, but how about the AI? Oh my gosh, they're doing this twice? So they're going to recruit 2 townspeople and try to get 4 people here. Although clearly that won't happen because once they place 1, they won't have any more spaces. So they'll certainly get rid of their extra corruption card, but they won't do anything with like the other 2 placements. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? They're going to get her and this guy. Oh, and my corruption is looking a lot worse now. And the single person they do get is here, and they're doing 2 time and getting yellow bonuses. That's not too bad in a moment. Now, the way they decide whether to go onto the corruption space or not is based on how many goods they have. You'll see right here, if they have 1 to 3, they go on the corruption spaces. If they have 4 or more, they don't. So here they're going to go on it, take a new corruption card, and save some time. Which means they are up again. 1 times yellow bonus times 2. So that's 4 money for them. Which honestly, for 2 hours is not worth it at all, so I'm glad they did that. And they jump 1, 2, and again, never technically past that adventurer space. And they're going to build a large red, but that's fine. I docked a single red guy at that 1 pier, so they're not going to get too much money for that. Let's see, I think now I'm finally ready to use my my staff members for 2 time. So I can return up to 2 things to the bag, I can move up to 1 thing to a cauldron, and I can brew twice in whatever order I want. And I think I know exactly how I want to do this. I'm going to grab the blue as the one I take from somewhere and put in a cauldron. And let's go ahead and go here. That'll get me set up to brew a large potion. Then I'll do my 2 brews. I'll brew a large blue potion and a small yellow. Then I can return up to 2 ingredients from anywhere to my bag. I'm just going to grab this one out of there and not use the other one. But the main thing I'm happy about is I've now set up a crazy little cascade of reds. That should be nice. All right, that moves me 1, 2. I'll place an adventurer. He's got a small blue, about to build some large reds. I've got large blues, but I'm already taken care of on that. And a small yellow. Oh, and I got a yellow. So far, he has no yellows. So, yeah, let's get some yellows in here if we can. All right, speaking of the AI's large red, they're getting a single one, spending 2 hours. Oh, and then they're going to get a large blue. That's my thing. And for the adventurer, they're going to place a red in the outer right one. So that's over here. And just to show that movement, so I'm behind again. And alright, it's kind of hard not to do this right. Let's go ahead and capture reds. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marbles. Yikes. And alright, I think I'm going to brew a small yellow, so I don't necessarily want anything else in there. Although I guess I can leave the red and, I don't know. I guess I can do like this kind of a thing. And let's see, wild, green, red, blue, blue. Interesting. Now I'm getting a double placement. So I've got a large red, I'm about to get a large blue, small blue. I've got 2 large blues, a small yellow. And I can make another small yellow, a small red, a large yellow. Pretty good options there, mainly for reds though. So let's see what I get. 2 green. Neither of us has done a single green, although I've got some green options to grab. Oh wait, before that, I just realized I would have gotten these 2 as well. I'm sure that would have changed how things fell. Good lord, that was a lot of marbles. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to need to brew something. And red is looking pretty wild, so what do I do with these greens? I mean, I want to lock in my yellows over here, but I think I want to leave room for more reds, so let's do it like that. These dudes all dock, and the guilds get a bit more full, including the lair. Okay, we got a single blue and only 1 time. Large blue, I should say. They're going to place 2 guys, so pretty decent chance things finish up right now. Now, blue is their rightmost, but they don't have any, so they're going to place a red, and then their next option is to place a rogue. And both are going to go left outer, and the left no longer applies, so just outer, so it'll be like that, and they put it in the outer place, and then right there. So actually, if I get a bunch of big reds, they're each going to be double just for 1 corruption overall. That's not bad at all. And then they are going to build 1 green for a single time. Oh, and interesting. That means that I'm going to finish out which boat docks. Well, here's, I think, kind of the obvious move. I'm going to go ahead and brew everything I can. So I'm going to brew 2 large reds because I know there's going to be worth a decent amount of money. And then I think I'll keep the red in here and brew the yellow because I only used 2 of them and things you didn't use stay where they are. That'll give me a small yellow because that's going to be at least double and maybe I'll get another one in the final boat thing. And then I guess I'm going to do a small red because I can't do any more large reds. You only have 2. I'm not sure if I'll sell this, but at least it's here. Oh, that doesn't go there. It goes back in the bag. And all right, now I'm going to do my final action of the round. And what the hey, let's do it again. So let's see, maybe I'll pull one thing into my cauldrons and then brew twice so I can get another small red. That's cool. What else is worth a decent amount of money? Nothing really. So maybe I'll just set up for a potentially great cascade here and get a small green. Actually, you know what the hey, why don't I go ahead and make it a large green. So I'll put that in there. And a small red, of course. And then I get to pull 2 things back to the bag and get out of here. What do y'all think? Is the engine going? Is the engine going? I think it's going pretty well. And that rockets me here. Oh, wait, that means, ooh. I just realized I'm going to finish up the round, which means it'll be here, and they'll get to do so much stuff. Oh, well, too late. Yeah, that may have been a terrible error. I guess we'll see. Ooh, okay, so I got 2 yellows, and the AI is about to build some reds, so I guess I'd rather have the yellow in here. And where do I want more guys to go? They've got a bunch of greens in waiting, so I'd rather land this boat and have gray, blue, and red to go elsewhere. Although I guess I did help their green good, so it might not matter much. All right, and so because I went so far past, the market's going to advance to 1 space beyond me. So I will get one more action. I did not count on that, but the AI might get a few. First, they're going to get a red. Oh, and then they're going to get a green and a yellow as well, because they only move 1. And just 1 time. All right. So they're still going. Okay, just a yellow and green. But crud, that's only 1 time. They're going to go again? All right, I guess I got a little overconfident with how many things I had made. Because now they're doing a... Oh my gosh! Well, okay. The good thing is they can't fit that much. They can only fit 1 more blue, which means they're going to try to make a red, another blue, another red. For each of those they can't make, they're going to get a random adventurer, which will give them a bunch of extra money at the end of this round. They're getting a red, a green, a blue. They did go 2 time forward, which means if I want to go second in the next round, I can just do a single time action. But what fun is that? I'm going to go here for 2 time. I'm going to call blue, so I'll get the one here, but I want to take this first. Oh, I should have 1 more here. What is it? A red. So let's see, can I make this work out? I want to go there to get the wild, but then take this one to have the reds be together. Come on now. Then boop, boop, boop. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to get any of these this time, so actually I'm not sure if I want them. So let's go like that, and now I can throw in a different color to get like some other large item if I want to. I'm going to refill in a wild, a yellow, a red, green, and a green. Nothing too combolicious there. Although I guess if I call red, I'll get a bunch of greens together. And I jump on top of the AI, so I will be first in the next round. But let's make our market sales. So the larges first. The AI has a red for 6 and a blue for 8 times 3, 24. That's 30. And then interestingly, they've got 2 small blues, but literally no blue buyers in either the black market or the small item market. So those will just stay on their board for next round. But 2 greens times 2, so that's going to be another 12, 42. A red for 3, 45. And a yellow times 3 for 12, 57 for the AI. Plus 3 green on their line at times 3, that's 66. 70 with 4 of those, 74, 76. Nice job. So they're at 56. So wow, they're rocking around to 132, passing me. And you mark hundreds with these little rose gems here. But I'm hopeful that I do well myself. Let's see. 2 blues, each worth 24, so that's 48. The big reds I'm going to hold on to until I get to the black market. Over here, 12 each, so that's 72. And then for the rest of this, I think I'll hold on to my green large in case I get a better offer next time, because the black market's only giving me 1 times multiplier. But I can sell all of these to the double reds for just a single corruption card, which is just 1 skull. So 72 plus 12, 84, 96... and plus 12 more, 108. Jesus. Remember, I have all of these checked off as well. So 108, 110, 114, 117, 121. So the 100, boop, plus 21, I'll be at 48. So yes, got a nice lead on the AI. So they've got 2 blues in waiting and fewer corruption cards than me. I would love to get another one of those discard 3 corruption card staff members. Hopefully one will come out. Okay, going into round 3, our second mouse comes out, so we'll have to make that choice twice. We're both starting on the 3 space. And even though we have that nice lead, things are looking a little nasty because, like I said, the AI has 2 goods left over, but they also keep this entire row filled, which means, first of all, they'll get rid of their only corruption card if they gain even one more person, but also they have potential to get a lot of sponsorship money at the end of the round again, and they're going to build a yellow and green as their first action. Okay. And man, oh man, this is a green and red little setup to start here. We'll see how it develops. All right, so I am first. I've already got a lot of blue set up. I'd love to get to the greens I just saw. Well, you know, maybe I do my staff action, although maybe I get another person so that when I do it, I can lose one of my corruption cards. Oh, speaking of, we should have cycled one of these. Come on, give me a 3 corruption discard. No luck. But 2 blue icons when there's 4 of them there already, and getting rid of 1 corruption, and I think I can do that, sure. I'm going to ditch the yellow corruption because that's the least filled guild, but sadly I have to get a new corruption plus spend an hour. Oh, of course they come out now. I could recruit them even though I'm full and just have to get rid of one of my other people. So I'll have to think about doing that, and oh, I got the exact same corruption card. Wonderful. All right, and wow, I'm already placing an adventurer with 1 hour. I don't have any special knowledge of red being good. I know I've got a green lard, so I'd like to maybe make that worth more. They've got 2 blues. They're going to get a small green and a small yellow, so maybe just kind of like muddying things up with a bunch of everything, going to try to get here. As for the AI... Now they're going to do a large red in a second, but they're going to get 1 yellow, 1 green for 2 time. And when they place the adventurer, so it's going to be a green adventurer right middle, because they are hopping right on over. And man, like I was saying, just red and green all over the place. Okay, back to me. Going to try to do our plan, spend 2 time, and I'll activate my staff in whatever order. He's going to definitely throw away that cruddy thing. And then just to remind you, I can remove 2 things back to the bag, move 1 thing into a cauldron, and brew twice. So it looks like maybe small greens and reds will be my most profitable option right now. So let's see, toward that end, I'm going to do something a little goofy. I'm going to use my place 1 into a cauldron to pull that red off. There we go. And I guess I'll put it here. And then for my returning to a bag, I'm going to take that out and my 1 red here to get 3 in a row plus a wild for the greens. And then I can brew twice. I'm going to brew a small red using this, so that stays put. Gosh, I guess a small blue. I'm not really sure here. And we got, oh my gosh, 4 greens in a row. That's going to be a great pull soon. And do I need more time or do I need more control? I think I need more control over the adventurers. And also we know my corruption situation is not so wonderful. A green. Okay, I have a large green. That's what I wanted, right? I wanted a large green. So maybe I put that there and run it over there. Sure. So my 1 remaining large green is going to be worth double. I can sell any big blues or reds I get. I think that's okay. Speaking of big reds, oh man, they got 2 of them? Oof, this is going to be rough. They're moving 2 spaces, which will put them into putting another adventurer down, which will be a red one in the outer left. And remember, they're skipping that option because they have way more than 4 items. And outside left, okay. That's actually not necessarily bad. We could potentially have a ton of reds here for small, and I can build small reds and they haven't built any yet, and they're actually almost out of space, so I could definitely make some money there. Though at the moment, greens seem to be what I'm going to be going for, aren't they? Yeah, and I'm just going to fill up everything here, so let's do it. That's going to be 2, so I'm going to do this one first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. So I could just say I'm going to get all greens here. I think that seems like a good idea. But to do that, I do have to get 1 of these in the waste. And once again, I want to make sure I'm the one locking in adventurers. A red. Huh. You know, I should actually be refilling this before I place the adventurer. Let's see if a red comes out. That's not helping. Oh, come on. Okay. Oh, there's a red. Dang it, all the way at the top. Yeah, that's a bit of a muddled mess. I could use my staff actions to change things up. All right, well, I don't want a ton of reds for the black market because they've got 2 big reds built. So let's try to get my green docked over here. Getting a little worried about this round. What's the AI doing? Twice the green. Doing this 2 times, getting 2 money for each green in the guild. That's 3. So that's going to be 12 money and 2 time. That's not too bad. Although maybe it is because they don't have room for any more items anyway. So 12's getting them to 44 right behind me. And again, they have enough items to skip that. So they are going to place an adventurer. Oh, which would be another red. Oh gosh, where is it going? Inside right. Okay, that's actually okay, because it's not going to the right side where their large ones could be sold at the black market. And I do have a green here, and I have some small reds myself, and I can try to get more, maybe. And so to that end, I think I got a brew for one. And I'll definitely get a large green, so that goes over there. But that's both that I can hold. So let's spend this and not spend that to get a small green. Now let's see, I could get 2 large blues. Those are each worth 8. Are small greens possibly going to be worth more than that? Well, I guess even if I'm not sure, it still makes sense to leave some stuff. So I'm just going to spend these using the wild to get 2 small greens. So I have the max of those. All right, and that puts me on top. Yeah, I think I got to do the staff to keep pushing. And which of these do I want to get rid of? I've also got another skull one. I think maybe one of the basic ones, because reds are likely to outnumber rogues by the end of this. So yeah. And then I get to do my thing, putting 1 into a cauldron, 2 back to the bag. So I'm definitely going to get the red from here. Is that the red I wanted? Yeah, I guess it got the yellows together. I want it to be a small red, because that's going to sell for the most. So let's go there. And I can pull 2 things back to the bag. I guess that makes sense. I don't want to take any more corruption cards. And then I'll definitely brew a small red and I guess a small blue. Got a pretty dang solid market here, but none of them are selling for a ton. But I don't think any of the AIs are either, so it should be good for me. This is going to decide a lot if I get to place 2 people. And I'd be happy with greens or reds, I think. Oh, or those colors. I do have 2 small blues. So does the AI, but they've also got a small yellow, and I have none of those. Oh, what a yucky draw. Guess I want more greens. They don't have any small reds yet, so that's pretty good for me. Though I think any more rogues to the guild is probably worse for me than them. And then, geez, I could, end the round. Maybe? Yeah, I mean, I have nothing yellow to sell, and they do. So it seems good to me to, almost totally lock them out of yellow, except for the black market. Let's go for it. That means the yellow and the green are moving over. So wow, I'm only going to have 1 more action in the whole game. I don't even know what it's going to be. But the AI has potentially a bunch of stuff to do. Let's see, what are they up to? Doing the blue moneymaker. It's 4 blue guys, so that's getting them 8. And only 1 hour, so they definitely have at least 1 more action. But it's only going to get them a small yellow. That I'm 100% okay with. And it's 2 time, that'll be it for them. So I'm feeling pretty confident. So bloop, there they are. And you know what? I was looking and I know the exact card I need to get. There we go. Because yeah, this, too good to pass up, I think. Not only do I get to get rid of both of my corruption cards, but I can also replace one of these guys. How about this one who has 2 corruption symbols himself? Oh man, that is much better. Though I do end up with a new corruption from the action. Okay, whatever. So I think I'll have the win here, but anything is possible. Let's see. All right, doing the AI first, they've got just 6 for each of these for 12 there. And then just 4 for each of these. That's 20. Oh my gosh, I really locked them out here, didn't I? 26 there. I can't believe they never built a small red. And they have to go get a corruption card to go there, but that's another 8. So that is only 34. Yuck. And then sponsorship-wise, from that huge pile, they only have 7 points. So 41 total, really? So they passed me on by all the way to 89. Or 189, I should say, but that's not going to last. Because, I mean, look at all the crap I'm going to sell right now. Right, so that's 24. Each of these is 6, so 30, 36, 42, 50. And then, gosh, these are each 15, so that's another 30. 80? Once again, I get every sponsorship. 89, 93, 96. So I can just go backwards 4 and add an extra 100 to my score. I totally destroyed them here. But let's not forget the end game points. For me, I've got minus 10 plus 4, so that's minus 6. Plus another 8, that's positive 2. Plus 5, that's 7. Plus 5 and minus 5, that's a wash. And then plus 6 more, 2 times 3. So that is 13 more. Gets me to a final score of 261. Totally respectable. As for the AI, they get 3, 6, but minus 5 is 1. Plus 5 is 6. And then, ooh, both of these are the doublers. So that's minus 6 overall. So they're at 0, and then minus 7 overall. So they're at negative 7 from this stuff. Take that, Peddler, down to 80 or 182. So man, I was close to lapping them. So there you go, that was the solo mode for Merchant's Cove, specifically with me playing as the Alchemist. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to hear my review thoughts on the solo play for this one, check out the review link that just popped up. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.